So today I'm going to show you how to make a felt ball like this. These can be used in all sorts of different craft projects but are specifically really good for making beads. So I'm going to show you how to make a simple felt ball out of wool roving. So you'll obviously need your fluffy wool roving like this. And this is great for felting. It comes in all sorts of different colours. You will need some dish soap and you will need a little jug of hot water, or you can do this over the sink if you prefer. So I'm going to start by taking a bit of my wool. Now, wool roving is weird because if you pull it really tightly, it's really hard to break. But if you pull it lightly, it breaks a lot easier, like that. Now I'm just going to go for a kind of thinner piece, so something a bit like that. And I am going to tie a double knot in the middle of my length. So you don't need to pull it super tight. I'm doing another one. And this knot in the middle will be what we build the rest of our felt around, and what the kind of felting sticks to. So you can see I've got a knot like that. Now these two tails I've got here, I'm going to tease them apart so they're nice and fluffy, kind of very see-through, like a kind of spider's web. Same on the other side. Like that. So you've got kind of a bow situation now. And I am going to then wrap this kind of teased wool around the knot. Just kind of wrapping lightly so that it is kind of roughly resembles a little ball of wool. Now, when you felt this, it's going to shrink probably about in half. So you need to make this ball of wool bigger than you want your final bead to be. So I'm going to add a little bit more wool on top of that. So I'm just going to take another small piece of my roving, tease it apart as before, just to get it nice and fluffy. And I'm going to wrap it again loosely, evenly around my fluffy wool ball. Okay, I'm happy with this fluffy ball of wool that I've got here. So felting is a process of agitating the wool with soap and water, and that's what makes the fibres shrink and stick together. So we need to take a tiny bit of dish soap, or you could use hand soap, it doesn't matter, not a lot at all. Wet your hands slightly and splash a little bit of water onto your wool ball. It doesn't have to be soaking wet, just a little bit wet. I'm going to rub my hands together, get a little bit soapy, and then I'm going to lightly start. I'm not pressing, I'm not squeezing, I'm lightly rolling my woolly ball between my hands just to get it nice and coated in the soap and to start that agitation process. So I'm just lightly rolling, and as you feel the ball start to kind of felt, you can add a little bit more pressure. So I'm going to do this probably for about 10 minutes. You can see it's starting to do something, and we just keep going. Add a little bit more water if you feel you need to. Again, as I say, you don't want it soaking wet. So you can see that it's starting to take shape as a little felt ball. You'll feel it becoming quite firm as well. One thing that can happen is you can get some sort of kind of cracking and layering. Now we want a smooth felt ball. So what you can do is grab a tiny bit more of your wool roving and make almost like an outside layer, and we'll felt that to the felt ball. So I'm now covering my felt ball in another wee bit of roving. Again, just teasing it round. It's almost like a wee jacket for it. A nice top layer. A bit more water. Probably don't need any more soap at this point. And roll again. Now you'll feel it's a wee bit, kind of feels a bit baggy, but just keep going. Hopefully that will start to stick together. And there you can see, now I'm starting to get a nice smooth felt ball with no cracking, because I put that little extra layer on top. So once it feels fairly sturdy, it's a nice shape, there's no cracking, and it all feels felted together. You can rinse out any excess soap. I'm going to pop it in my little jug or run it under the tap. Sometimes this hot water actually helps kind of shrink the fibres a little bit as well. And just make sure it's in a nice ball shape. And then I normally just kind of squeeze it in a little bit of kitchen roll just to get any excess water out so it takes less time to dry. Make sure it's nice and round. And there you have it. There is a felt ball, and let that dry, and then you can stitch onto it, you can add it onto a necklace, you can use it for any sorts of projects that you require a felt ball for.